Grab your cup. What's going on in your relationships as an adult has gone on your whole adult life, happening right now. If you have patterns that you've seen, how you yourself are in relationships, how you behave, patterns in how relationships go, how well connected they are, how emotionally close you feel, or even if it's like different people, throughout your lifetime, or the same one person, but the same kinds of patterns show up, it gives us a lot of information about your childhood. And that's the place to look if you want to break those patterns. So let me tell you what I mean, and then you take a look at your own life and how relationships have gone for you, and just see what you connect, what dots you can connect, okay? So the first thing to understand is that human beings are wired for connection. Even if you're at a place where you've decided, yeah, I don't need anybody, I'm fine, I like being independent, that's something that we tell ourselves in our mind because we've been hurt before, because things haven't worked out, because we figure, let me decide that because this is what I've got. But the truth is, we're really wired for connection. We need attachment as soon as we're born. So when babies and young children are growing and developing, they need connection, and they need certain things in those primary connections of their caregivers with mom and dad. They need certain things, and depending on how those things are met is going to show up in how you are in relationships now. So these are the core things that every child needs, especially while they're craving connection and looking to attach to the people that are around them in their household and in their family. So the first thing is unconditional love. We have to have unconditional love, which means even when you mess up, I love you. In fact, I love you enough to let you mess up, because I want you to know that I love you unconditionally. There's nothing that you can do or not do that's going to stop me from loving you. And I also want you to gain a sense of yourself. I want you to have autonomy in your own life, and I want you to trust yourself. When we love unconditionally, then children can get the opportunity to learn how to trust themselves, because they're not trying to behave on condition in order to feel connected. If it feels conditional, then we do things in order to feel connected, and then we stop trusting ourselves, and we don't get a sense of autonomy. So unconditional love. The second thing that all human beings need, and this is critical when we're first growing and we're very, very young, is safety. Now, safety covers a lot of things. It covers, am I physically safe? Do I live in an environment where I'm not worried that there's fighting all the time? I'm not worried that, I hear arguments about money, and, maybe I'm only 4 years old and I don't really understand money, but I know it's a bad thing and I know they're fighting about it all the time. Do I live in an environment where I have to walk on eggshells because somebody has an addiction problem, or somebody works really hard and when they come home they're exhausted and it's just like, everybody be quiet so we don't make them mad? That's one type of safety. The other part of safety is it safe for me to express myself? Is it safe for me to have my emotions, to feel anger and express it, to feel sadness and express it? Do the people who care for me allow that to happen? Or are they, stop it, you're bothering me, I can't deal with that? They can't even deal with their own emotions, let alone mine, when I'm a very young child. So emotional safety as well as physical safety, not only from abuse, but just in a safe, calm environment where people know how to calm themselves down. The other part about emotions is, do the people who take care of me as a very young child express emotions? Do they allow themselves to say and be emotional with me? Because if they don't, now the way that I'm learning how to connect with people, which is going to show up in my adult relationships, especially my partnerships, if my caregivers don't express emotions with me, I do one of two things. I either get really anxious and I'm always like, is everything okay? Did I do something wrong? Do you still like me? So I either become very anxious, or I learn I'm on my own. I can't really look to other people. I'm going to be very independent. It's like walls go up. So unconditional love, safety, physical safety, emotional expression, and then significance, which is importance. Do I feel important? Are the things that matter to me acknowledged in my house? Or do I hear a lot of, do as I say because I said so? I'm the grown-up, you don't get a say in this. It doesn't matter if you want to do this, we expect you to do that. This is how you show up in the world. When my own significance and importance is not nurtured, that's again where I stop learning to trust myself, and I start looking outside for validation, for acknowledgement, for a sense of importance. So those core needs that all children have, it's how we need to develop, and depending on how well they were met will affect how we develop and then how we show up in our relationships now. If you're struggling in relationships, if you feel like either there's walls up, or you always take yourself away, or you're always anxious and chasing other people, always wondering if you did something wrong, you're hyper vigilant on how other people are reacting to you, and you don't trust yourself, and you really feel like the only way that you can get love and approval is by doing certain things, being a certain way, and your true authentic self is not valued. All of those ways got developed when you were very young. So that's the work that we do, is really uncovering those coping mechanisms and those responses, those learned responses to how well your core needs were met. And if the patterns in your relationships or lack of relationships has been painful, we would love to talk to you. Because even when we had households, if you look back and you say, I had a happy childhood, my house was a normal household, but yet, I don't know, maybe people never shared their emotions. Or you just learned, I have to get certain grades, I have to be on certain teams, I have to have these accomplishments. And I went and I did them, and I was happy to do them. But I knew somewhere if I didn't do them, people were not going to be happy with me. If that happened, it's still, I'm going to call it trauma. It's still a trauma because it changed how you saw yourself and how you saw other people, and it's affecting your relationships now. Trauma is stored in your body. You have an automatic body response, an automatic nervous system response to people and situations. Regardless of what you think in your conscious mind, there's an automatic response. So trauma is stored in your body, in your nervous system, and it's reflected out in your life, in your relationships, and in how successful and happy you feel in your life. If that's all been an issue for you, drop a comment that you want to talk, and I'll make sure that someone on my team, myself or someone else, reaches out to you about what's happening and about what you want to have happen and how to close that gap. Okay? Have a great day.